If there's one thing that I hate, it's having cash just sitting around and getting destroyed by inflation. In this video, I'm gonna go over some options of where you could put your emergency fund money while you were in debt and even after. If you wanna know how much to save for an emergency fund, then I made a video on that topic. I'll throw a link down in the description for you to check out after this video. Hey, I'm Jarrad from Debt Free Blueprint, where I show awesome people like you how to get out of debt and create freedom through your finances using the debt-free blueprint. Whether you're in debt or out of debt will determine where you save your emergency fund. My goal in this video isn't to sway you towards one way or the other. It's to present to you the options that are out there and give you my thoughts on each. Make your own decision based on what sounds more interesting and fits with your specific financial life. As you watch this video, let me know in the comments down below which one of these sounds like the best option for you and why. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just to give you an idea of how this video is going to be structured, I'm going to list an option and then I'm going to talk about it if you're in debt and then if you're out of debt. The first and easiest option for all of us is our local bank. While you're in debt, you usually don't want to take on too much more risk since you're currently overflowing with risk through the debt that you're paying off. If all this money is to help you float by while you're slamming all of your other available cash towards your debts, then this is one of your better options. Because you know that if you put in $1,000, then that $1,000 will always be there in times of need, while in the process of paying off your debt. If you're out of debt, then keeping an emergency fund in your local bank will work just fine. This probably isn't your best option though, but there's nothing wrong with keeping your money here if it helps you sleep at night. Keeping your money here will all depend on if you're more risk averse. Next, we're going to talk about high yield online checking or savings accounts. Now, a few things to keep in mind with either of these two options. The interest rate will usually be higher for an online checking account than it would be for a checking account at your local bank. Number two, the interest rate for the online savings account will usually be higher than the online checking account. I'm currently receiving roughly 1.75% interest on my money through the online savings account. Number 2B, keep in mind that there are federal regulations surrounding the amount of transactions that you can make per month with an online savings account, or with any savings account for that matter. You're allowed 6 transactions or less per month before being charged. Generally, you won't get charged for transactions at places like ATMs, in banks, or some stores. Do not fault the banks for this, because they're just following the federal law. It's basically to prevent you from constantly taking your money back and forth between a checking and savings account. This usually isn't a big deal though, because 6 transactions is a lot. And we're talking about your emergency fund here. If you find yourself hitting or going over those 6 transactions, then you may want to look at moving that money into a checking account. If you're in debt, then I like the online savings account option the best. I agree that it's still not the best return on your money, but this isn't something that you need to be worrying about with your emergency fund while you're paying off your debts. The goal for your emergency fund while paying off debt is that the full amount will be there when you need to use it. You might be worried that you won't have access to the money like you would if it was at your local bank. I agree. But nowadays, you can get this money transferred into your local checking account within a couple business days. Some of these online banks also offer debit cards as well. If they don't, then you can just use a credit card to charge your emergency fund amount, then pay it off once the money is moved from your online checking account to your savings account at your local bank, savings or checking account at your local bank. With a credit card, you have 30 days to pay it off. So that's more than enough time to get the money transferred from your online account to your local bank account to pay the credit card off. Yes, you heard me correctly. I'm actually okay with credit card use as long as it's paid off at the end of every month and it's used responsibly. Being responsible with your finances gives you more options, like using a credit card to take advantage of the points that you get. If you're someone who is out of debt and a little more risk averse, then this is probably the best option for you, specifically the online savings account. If you've gotten this far in your financial life, then you'd have 3 to 6 months worth of an emergency fund saved up. Since that is such a large amount, you most likely will not need access to that full amount if something goes wrong. The only time you would need access to all of that money is if you lost your job or some other huge emergency happened. If that happened, then you could just transfer the money from your online account to your local account 1 month at a time until you find the next job or get out of that specific emergency. This is actually where I keep a large portion of my 6-month emergency fund. I'll throw a link down in the description of which bank I currently use. Next is investing your emergency fund. What? You shouldn't invest your emergency fund. This is one of the more risky things to do with your emergency funds. But wait a minute to hear how I think that you can mitigate some of the risk. If you're in debt, then there is too much risk involved in going this route. Finish getting your debts paid off, then let's talk about where you may want to put your emergency fund in the future. If you're out of debt, then you're in a position to take a little bit more risk. There are ways you can invest your money in a safer way than just putting them into a single stock. I would never recommend you putting your emergency fund in a single stock. No, and hell no. Let me put a little disclaimer out there now. I'm not recommending that you do this. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, then please keep your money somewhere safe, like the things we already talked about. I'm a huge proponent of investing in low-cost index funds. While there is always risk associated with investing your money in the stock market, if there was ever a time to do it, it would be when your debts are paid off and you're in a financial position to potentially risk losing some to gain some. I wouldn't recommend investing your whole emergency fund. That would just be stupid, not smart. Here's what I'm in the process of doing with my 6-month emergency fund. I want to give myself a chance to beat the inflation rate or possibly make some extra money in the process. I also want to keep my emergency fund somewhat safe as well. So how can I do both? I'm going to be investing a small portion of my money, my emergency fund, and keep a larger portion of this in an online savings account. The portion I'd be investing would be about a 60-40 split, with the larger portion being invested in bonds. Another reason I feel comfortable doing this is because I'm pretty darn financially secure and have a stable job. I'll tell you now that if I happen to lose my job tomorrow, then I wouldn't be holding my money in any investments like this. I'd move it all to the online savings account. I've actually thought about documenting this process by making a monthly update video to let you know what's going on with that part of my emergency fund that I invested. That way you can see whether it was a smart move or not. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see this. If you do, then once those videos are created, I will throw a link in the description of this video so you can follow along. Now, I would be investing this part of my emergency fund into a taxable account. And one thing to always keep in mind when investing in a taxable account is that you will pay capital gains taxes on any gains you have in that investment when the money is withdrawn. For example, if I invested $1,000 and withdrew the money once the total was at $1,500, then I would pay capital gains tax on that $500 gain. Another thing to know is that you are taxed at a higher capital gains rate if you sell the investment within 12 months of purchasing it. You pay a lower capital gains rate once you sell the investment after 12 months. Figuring out where to put your emergency fund is the easy part. The more important part of an emergency fund is actually having one. If you don't have yours fully funded, then let's get it going, because it's not a matter of if a financial emergency is going to happen to you, it's when that emergency is going to happen. Feel free to sign up for the money management course waiting list where we talk about things like this. The link is in the description. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button and pick up your free copy of the Debt-Free Prep Workbook. I'd love to have you as a subscriber so we can start getting you to the point where you are financially free. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Adios.